And joining us today is a former USC and Pittsburgh quarterback. You can find him on X, Instagram, and live on TikTok every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Seriously, guys, the content that he pumps out on the socials, especially during the season, is just remarkable. The other day, he gave us a taste of the latest video out on YouTube where he dives into one question for every single Power Four quarterback. It was, stuff for the sickos out there. He's a current lead college football analyst at ESPN for the ACC network. Max Brown, welcome into the show.
What's up, fellas? I appreciate you watching that video. That was a beast to make, all 35 minutes of content. But if you're a quarterback hardo and a college football hardo, I'll put my rep on the line that you'll like that video.
Let's get into some win totals here.
Max, let's head on over to Louisville, Kentucky, and where the bourbon is always fine there in that part of the country. And let's take a look at old Jeff Brohm and the Louisville Cardinals this year. First off, Jeff Brohm and Brian Brohm, at Purdue and now at Louisville, they're just doing an incredible job together, man. They're always going to field a really good offense, no matter who they've got. But bringing in Miller Moss from USC, Louisville's win total is set at 8.5. Bringing in Miller Moss from USC. Moss last year, I think, kind of got used a little bit almost as maybe as you can probably elaborate more on this, Max, obviously with your history there with USC. Obviously, he wasn't the quarterback that like Caleb Williams and some of the past quarterbacks that he had at Oklahoma. But Moss was still like fine. I felt like that in the key moments there, like the fourth quarters and late in the second half and games, like the winning type moments, that he just didn't really take that next step for USC. And so ended up benching him, and he moves on and he goes to, honestly, an incredible, going from Lincoln Riley to Jeff Brohm. What an incredible, as far as a quarterback, getting to play for both the head coaches like that. But I remember looking at Miller Moss's tape. At one point, he was averaging like 289 yards passing per game, which if you extrapolate that out to 12 games, he would have finished like top 15 in the country passing yards per game. So again, this dude is not trash. He's a really good QB, and I think he's going to fit well in Jeff Brohm's system. When you start with Louisville, though, you got to look at the tandem at tailback, man. Isaac Brown and Duke Watson I don't even think it's arguable. I think they absolutely are one of the three best tandem, like duo tailbacks in the country, along with Notre Dame and Penn State. And I love that they get Colin Lacey at wide receiver back from injury. He was a guy last year that was coming out of South Alabama that had over 1,000 yards receiving. Everybody in the country wanted him. He goes to Louisville. They bring back Chris Bell now, but Colin Lacey got injured last year when you didn't get to see him much last year. He's back. He's healthy to pair along with Chris Bell. And defensively last year, Louisville was not very good. But Ron English, is the defensive coordinator, has been doing this for a long time. You got to think he's going to be able to get this at least somewhat right this year. If not, I don't feel good about this 8.5 at all. But I love Louisville over 8.5 because I believe in Jeff Brohm. I believe in this offense. And I also like this schedule. They're playing Eastern Kentucky. James Madison is not an easy game, but I think they'll get James Madison at home. They get their bye week, play Bowling Green. They're going to start out 3-0. And then they got a game that I think is going to be underrated in the ACC that won't get like a ton of pub, and that is at Pitt. That Cade Bell offense and Eli Holstein and Pitt and this Louisville offense going up against each other, man, there could be a lot of points scored in that game. But in that game being at Pitt, a little bit of a tough spot there, but I think they get that. I think they get Virginia. I think they start 5-0, and then they get their bye week. And I think that this game right here, for the team that we just talked about a minute ago in Miami and with this Louisville team, I think this is a huge inflection point for both of those teams in this season to be what they're going to be going forward in the ACC this year. Who's going to be one of those teams that's going to be sitting there challenging Clemson for the ACC? I think the winner of that game in Miami Gardens between Louisville and Miami could possibly decide that. I like that they get Boston College at home, at Virginia Tech, they get Cal at home, they get Clemson at home, at SMU. I personally have Louisville going 10-2 this year. I've got Louisville going 10-2, but so I'm looking at that. I'm thinking maybe if they go 9-3, that still gets you over that 8.5. So what's your thoughts on Miller Moss and the marriage that he could have with Jeff Brohm and Brian Brohm at Louisville coming from USC?
I'm excited for him. It's funny. I literally saw him at the grocery store right down the street. His mom has a condo near where I live. When he hopped in the transfer portal in December, I saw him literally at the grocery store. I was like, "Yo, where are you thinking of going?" And he was like, "Yeah, it might have been Missouri, maybe Louisville." At the time, I wasn't even thinking Tyler Shough. Obviously, Shough got a lot of offseason, and
Right.
Brohm got a lot of offseason pub with the NFL draft. But in my mind, I was like, bro, like Louisville, like wait, what? Like I feel like there's other teams that could be in the quarterback market. But then, sure enough, Tyler Shough, second round pick, kind of out of nowhere, even for a guy that covered the conference every single week. Like we weren't really talking about Tyler Shough. We were talking about Cam Ward and Kyle McCord and those types of guys, Kevin Jennings and all that. And so now it makes sense. Like what Brohm's done, I mean, from multiple angles at every different stop, it's very much like he's a quarterback whisperer. And I think Miller Moss is a good college quarterback. I mean, there's a reason that Louisville went out and got him amongst some of the other transfer quarterbacks out there. I thought Miller fell into a little bit of a trap of when I saw those interceptions last year, I saw a quarterback that was pressy, a quarterback that had to fill the shoes of a Caleb Williams, a quarterback that you look at USC's fourth quarter struggles a year ago. They lost, 6 games, I believe it was. They were leading in all 6. Like the statistical outlier of what that stat was for USC was crazy. Like that doesn't happen to teams. Like even
Max, they lost 5 of those games by an average margin of 3.8 points per game.
Crazy. Exactly. Like I get it. USC fans are going to blame bad coaching. Yes, it was not great coaching, and I'll get into that. But like it was also like just an obscure stat of like, man, like felt like a negative snowball that Miller couldn't get out from under and the team couldn't get out from under. So there was pressing because of that and the turnovers. And I also think Lincoln Riley struggled play calling in some of those moments where you're up 1 score, there are 8 minutes left. Can you trust the run game and like protect your team and protect your quarterback? I think, separate from Miller Moss, it wouldn't surprise me if he makes a lot of adjustments going into this season to help his quarterback and grow from that. Because it always felt like the play calls, they were trying to hit home run shots and kind of reinvent the wheel when, hey, just trust Woody Marks in the backfield and kind of lean on that run game. And the point I bring up in this conversation is a lot of that negative, pub fell on Miller's shoulders. And so USC fans like, oh, the guy sucks. Well, no, the guy can play. I just felt like a lot of factors externally worked against him there. But look, turn on that week 1 LSU film from last year and Miller's first start. And he's dicing them up. I remember reading articles that like he might be a top 5 NFL draft quarterback in this past year after that LSU game. So I think the kid's got talent. I do like Louisville, but I like some of the other teams in the ACC. So from a betting line standpoint, 8.5, big picture, I'd stay away from it. Because I'm right on the fence. Like your point about, I love Pitt. I think this is the best Pitt team we've seen on paper since the ACC championship team. I think it's the best defensive line they've had coming back since that time. Holstein coming back. Obviously, they were 7-1 with him and then before he got hurt. So Pitt's a sneaky team for me. Again, this might be the byproduct of a guy who had, 2 head coaches fired midseason. But I always look at this. You get Virginia Tech November 1. That staff could be coaching for their job. You get Cal the next week. That staff could be coaching for their job. And then followed by, again, you still get SMU. That's a sneaky team. And then you finish up with an SEC opponent, in-state rivalry. Like this is to me a sneaky hard schedule when you look at some of the nuances there. If they get like one injury or a bad stretch, if I had to pick one, I think they go 9-3 and I'd go over, but I'd stay away from this 8.5 line to me.
Awesome, man. Guys, appreciate you guys listening, watching, tuning in. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe, like the show, comment, follow us on X, Instagram, TikTok. We love the banter back and forth like you guys are giving to us here. We got, 10 days till season starts. So we're ever so close to college football. For Max Brown and Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Noe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.